Hello students. So today we will start the subject of the traffic engineering. So the name of the subject is traffic engineering and it is basically a 3 credit course. So the thing is that what are comes under this traffic engineering courses. So to understand that, first we have to know that what are the prerequisite we should have, the students should have before starting of this subject. So before starting of this subject, the student should have some knowledge on the IRC codes, some loading pattern based on IRC codes, and some traffic features. So basically the traffic engineering subject consists of the bridge engineering part, the few about the traffic engineering, the basic of the high transportation engineering means the formation of the various committees, the JICA committees, Bombay plan, Nagpur road plan, and the last one is your railway engineering. So what is the course objective? So the course objective is basically the introduction of IRC loading, introduction of traffic engineering, utility of study of traffic management, and basic concept of railway track, railway governing body, and engineering fundamentals. So first we will start the introduction of the traffic engineering. So before starting the subject, let me introduce myself. Myself, Dr. Debasish. I am the assistant professor of civil engineering department of GIS College of Engineering, Kalyani. So first we have to know that what are the various type of traffic characteristics. So you know, in road basically there are two types of traffic observed. One is your road users characteristics, another is your vehicular characteristics. Means there are two types of traffic. One is motorized traffic, another is non-motorized traffic. So what comes under motorized traffic and what comes under non-motorized traffic? So under the non-motorized traffic, basically the pedal rickshaw, the cycle rickshaw, the walking, that comes under non-motorized traffic. And what are comes in the motorized? Apart from the traffic rickshaw, the rickshaw or your cycle or walking, whatever is moved by the motors, using the motors like your two-wheeler, four-wheeler, bus, truck, those are, everything is considered under the motorized traffic. So next we will discuss that what are the traffic studies need. So basically in traffic studies, the name of the various studies and the uses means what are the various studies come under the traffic studies. So when we discuss in the next classes, we will find out that in the traffic studies we can we have to estimate the traffic volume, the traffic capacity, the traffic signal system, then accident, then various type of traffic survey, then intersection. So there are lots of things are there comes under the traffic studies. So that is the thing, the name of the various studies and what are their uses. Why we do the parking studies? Why we do the traffic volume study? Why we do the capacity study? And the one of the important is accident studies. Means what are the various type of accident? What are the reasons of the accident and how we interpret these accidents? Next is the traffic regulation and the control devices. Means what are the various type of regulations? Regulations like traffic sign, traffic signal, traffic intersection. Those are some regulation and control devices. Control means in which by which means or method we control the traffic movement in the road. So basically if we see the hierarchy, the road users characteristics are basically three types. One is physical characteristics, another is psychological characteristics, and third one is environmental characteristics. So if we go in the deep studies in physical characteristics, there are vision, hearing, strength, and the other parameters which are related to physical are imposed in this physical studies. And what is the other? Another is your reaction situation, means how you react when you see an object while moving in the road, or you walking in the road. Means you walking in the road or you driving a two-wheeler and four-wheeler and suddenly some object came in front of your vehicle or in front of you. So how you react? So this is not a simple that you react and you take a diverted route and you follow the second option. No, there are some psychological thing in our mind will be there. So that is given or expressed by PIV theory. So what is P? P is for perception, I is for intellection, E is for emotion, and V is for volition. So what are those? We will discuss in the later section. Next is the psychological. So psychological is the attentiveness, fear, anger, attitude. These are some psychological parameters. And third one is the environmental characteristics. Environmental characteristics mean roadside features, atmosphere condition. Means suppose in foggy weather it is hard to drive the vehicle because of the in front the in front portion the driver cannot see properly. There are some hindrance due to this fog. So the clearance of the roadway during various type of weather is different. In rainy season the clearance is something different, in foggy season something different, and in normal situation something different. So these are some road users characteristics. So as we discussed that the road users characteristic under this physical characteristics, we found that the PIB theory. So as I discussed that PIB is the perception time. So what is perception time? Time required to perceive an object, sorry, time required to perceive an object. Perceive an object means suppose you are driving a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler or a six-wheeler or whatever may be the vehicle. Suppose some object you find out that some object are 10-meter or 15-meter away from your vehicles and it is lying in the road. So first you have to think that yes, it is an object. Now the second is that which type of object it is. Is it a solid material? Is it just a material? Is it some cow, or is it some cat, dog, or what are the thing? What is the thing is lying on the road? So first thing is that time required to perceive an object means we have to first perceive the object of what is actually it is. Next is that intellection time, the time required for the driver to understand the situation. Means next we have to understand the situation. Okay, what shall I do? Whether I shall stop my vehicle or I shall divert my route and pass away. So that is totally depend on the driver, and it is come in this intellection time. Second is the emotion time. Emotion time is what? The time elapsed during emotional sensation. Means how you react whenever this situation comes in the picture. One signal is directly transferred from your nerve, means from your head to the other parts of the body are responsible for taking any decision. So emotion means whether you are fear, whether you are angry, whether you are shocking. So there are some emotion by which you will dealing this situation. And finally is the volition, means the action taking time. So the volition is basically the action taking time. Now it's time to take some action, whether I stop the vehicle, whether I take a diversion. So this is the time taken by the driver for the final action. So basically this total reaction time is in the range of 3 to 4 seconds. So on an average this reaction time is considered to be as 2.5 seconds. Next is the vehicular characteristics. As I said that there are two types of characteristics. One is traffic characteristics or the road users characteristics. Sorry, road users characteristics and the vehicular characteristics. Road users means we are the people who are not driving the vehicle. Road users who are using the road apart from the vehicle. So next is the vehicular characteristic. Vehicular characteristics are two types. One is static, one is dynamic. When is the static? When the vehicles is stopping at a particular location. For that particular cases, there are some static characteristics. But and when the vehicles are moving in the road or in the area, then it is the dynamic characteristic. So in static characteristics, basically the vehicle dimension, maximum turning angle, weight of loaded vehicles. These are came in the picture. Means suppose I have a I have a area. The length of that area is suppose 100 meter. So for parking of 5 vehicles or 10 vehicles, first thing I need to know is the length of the vehicle, mean dimension of the vehicle, the length width of the vehicle. Based on the dimension of that vehicle we can get a rough idea that how much vehicle can be parked on that particular area. So without knowing the vehicular dimension, it is very tough to find out the actually the occupancy. For any type of vehicle we have to find out the occupancy, means how many vehicles can be occupied for that particular road area, and for that the vehicular dimension is very important. Next is the maximum turning angle. Yet yes, it is very important for the hilly area where the vehicles are taking some turn in the hilly area. It is very serious issue to deal for the traffic engineers or the highway engineers to design the horizon, the turning radius we have to design very accurately, else the vehicles will be make some accident and it will be turning over. So the calculation of the turning angle is very important. Next is the weight loaded vehicles. Means yes, the based on the dimension of the vehicle, and the capacity of the engine, the load of the vehicle is fixed. So that are some static characteristics which are not in some dynamic dilemma. Next is the dynamic characteristics. What are the power of the vehicles, the speed of the vehicles, the braking characteristics, acceleration and deceleration. So these are the things which are in dynamic condition. Means speed of the vehicles. Yes, vehicles moving. Then we have to think for the speed of the vehicles, and when it is moving means it is a dynamic characteristic. Braking characteristic. Braking, when we apply the brake when the vehicle is in moving condition, and we want to stop the vehicle, then we apply the brake. So the concept of braking characteristic will be came in the picture when the vehicle is in dynamic condition. And again the acceleration and deceleration, from this two term itself you can find out that the vehicle is in dynamic condition. So these are the some static and dynamic characteristics. Next we come the what are the vehicle dimension. So vehicle dimension is basically we will understand by this term the vehicle dimension is the length and the width. The what is the length of the vehicle and what is the width of the vehicle. So the length and width of the vehicle, the width of the traffic lane, shoulder, parking facilities, capacities of the road, design of the vertical and horizontal alignment, extra width of pavement and safe overtaking distance. This all these things, all the things have already been discussed in your previous classes. That is why I am saying that in prerequisite section that you should have some knowledge on the highway design and traffic engineering part. The shoulder, parking facility, capacity of the road, the vertical and the horizontal alignment, this already should be covered so that you have some idea on this thing, and you can do the solve the problem very easily and smoothly on the basis of your previous knowledge. So next is the height of the vehicles. Yes, for the vertical clearance, the height of the vehicle should be known properly, because in Indian condition, in maximum places, the electricity connection or the phone connection or the internet connection are not in underground system. In western countries all the connections are almost all the connections are in the underground system, but in in Indian situation, in developing countries, so it is very tough and it is very hard to use this connection as the underground. That is why we need to be concerned of the height of the vehicle, so that the height cannot be make any hindrance to the electricity wire or the phone wire or the internet wire. Next is the what will be the dimension of the vehicles. Means there we are talking about that we should keep in the mind the dimension of the vehicle. We should keep in mind the width of the vehicle. Dimension means the width and the length of the vehicle. So what will be the length, width and the height? So basically there are have given some standard value of the length, width and the height. So let's find the value. So for the width section, the all vehicles should be of 2.5 meter. The maximum dimension, if you see the table, the first in the top it is the dimension of the vehicle. The details mean the type of the vehicles and the maximum dimension excluding the front and rear bumpers. Okay, keep in mind that the this weight are given or the height are given or whatever dimension are given, that is the excluding of the front and the rear bumper, because it is not mandatory to use the bumper your bumper in your vehicle. So that is why the dimensions are calculated excluding this thing. So width of the vehicles is 2.5 meter. The height is for two types of vehicle, that is a single deck vehicle for normal application and double deck vehicle. So if you are from India and you in some places like Mumbai or Calcutta, you can find out in the movies, not the time present scenario, in the past scenario or in some movies you can find a double decker buses. So what will be the height? Because we are not provide a height or randomly, we have to follow certain restrictions, certain guidelines by the IRC. So for the double deck vehicles, the height should not be more than 4.75 meter, and for the single deck it is 3.8 meter. Now length is different for different category of the vehicle, because if you see that there are two wheeler, there are four wheeler, there are six wheeler truck, there are 10 wheeler truck, there is a tractor, there is a semi trailer tractor, there is a tractor trailer combination, there are various. This is the heterogeneous type of traffic we can see in the Indian scenario. So keep in mind that India is a country where the vehicles are observed in a heterogeneous condition and in a same lane. There is no dedicated or the separate lane for the for your ambulance, for your four wheeler, for your two wheeler. In some cases, in some cities, in some metro cities, you can find it, but in the most in the urban area or in the all rural area, there is no separate or dedicated lane for the different type of different category of the vehicle. So based on the category of the vehicle, the length of the vehicles are different. So if you see this table, therefore for semi single unit truck with two or more axle. So what is axle? We'll discuss the thing. So axle is basically the portion, the holding portion of two wheels. Means one bar is there, and that bar is holding the two tires on the two opposite direction. So this whole system is called as the axle. So it is if the two or more axles single unit truck, it is 11 meter. So in this way, for different type of combination of the vehicles, the different length of the vehicles is given. Now what are the various type of combination that will be showed in a pictorial view in the next slide. So this is the pictorial view of the various types of vehicles. So if you see that this is a vehicle with, yes, so this is a axle. This is here is a one tire, in the opposite direction there is a one tire, and there is a connector between the two one these two tire. So this two tire plus connector, this is the system is called as the axle. So this is the single unit truck. This is the two axle, means more than two axle or more than two axle. This is the trailer come trailer, one single unit with some segmented part. So these are some trailer and tractor. So these are the type 3 2, type 2 3, these are mentioned here. What is type 2 3, what is type 2 3, what is 2s1 2s2 3s1 3s2, that everything is given. So this is 3s1, this is 3s2. So in this way, the various type of notation for the vehicles, for different types of the vehicle, based on the axle, based on the segment, are given in this picture. Next is the weight of the loaded vehicles. So these are the there are the two aspects, that is the effect design of the pavement thickness and the gradient, and the IRC recommended for maximum permissible gross weight and the axle. So these are the two things which will be which already been discussed, or which will be discussed in your bridge section, or while we design the bridge, what type of load come in the picture. So that is the loaded vehicles. Then what are the various type of load based on the types of vehicle will also be discussed. Next is the power of the vehicle. Power of the vehicles mean the govern the limiting value of the gradient on road. Consider total resistance of traction, rolling resistance, air, and graded resistance. For total hauling capacity, speed and acceleration of the vehicles are determined. Next is the speed of the vehicle. So when we are discussing about the speed, so always keep in mind, and you have already studied in your previous semester, the speed basically are two types. One is your static speed, not your regular type of speed. One, and another is your spot speed, means the speed which are considered or which are taken at a particular spot, that is the spot speed, and another is regular type of speed. So basically speed of the vehicles is after design of the side distance, super elevation, length of the transition curve, design gradient, capacity of the traffic lane, and design of the control measure. So in this all this segment, the speed is one of the important parameters we need to be considered. So let me discuss one by one effect of the design of the side distance. Yes, for the design of the side distance, the speed of the vehicles is very important, because based on the speed we have to take the decision that whether we will overtake the vehicle or we give a pathway to that vehicle. Next is the super elevation. In the geometric design for the super elevation part, this speed of the vehicles is highly essential. Next is the length of the transition curve. What will be the length of the transition curve? Based on this length of the transition curve, we need to provide the speed, and based on that speed, we have to calculate the length of the transition curve. Then the design gradient, then capacity. Yes, speed is always will depend on the capacity. So if the capacity, the relation between the speed and capacity is very effective to each other. And second, last one is the design of control measures, mean your accident in your sign signal. These all things are depends on the speed. Next is the braking characteristics and efficiency, means how much your vehicles are efficient in terms of braking efficiency. So your vehicle should be 100% efficient for applying the brake. You see, in some places you can find out that after applying the brake, the vehicles are not stopped, or the vehicles are stopped after some certain distance. So there are some problem in the braking efficiency. The braking efficiency should be 100%, so that we can reduce the accident rate of that particular road. So the traffic studies, if we talking about the traffic studies, these are the broad six area we need to be considered. First one is your traffic volume, then your spot speed, next is your speed and delay, then origin and destination, parking, and the accident studies. So what is the traffic volume study? So as we discussed that the traffic volume studies measures to quantify the traffic flow. Yes, quantify the traffic flow, measures the quantify the traffic flow, number of the vehicles passing across a given traverse line of the road during the unit time, expressed as the number of the vehicles per hour or per day. Classified traffic volume of each vehicle classes separately, and level of measurement of the traffic volume. So these are the some parameters or the things we need to be considered for the traffic volume studies. So why we need these traffic volume studies? So for design of the any road, the first parameters we need to consider is the traffic volume, means how much traffic may fly on the road, and based on that we first design the we first fix the design, the width of the road, the width of the load should be, so that the number of the vehicle or the volume we calculated can be accommodated. So the traffic volume study is one of the important parameter we need to consider. Second one is the method for traffic count, means how we count this traffic volume. We have told that the traffic volume is very important, but what are the methods to count this traffic volume? So for that, basically there are three types of method. That is the number of observers needed, equipment needed, and field summary. So these are the three things we keep in mind. The number of observer needed means number of surveyors we need to apply on the road, or we need to appoint at the road sections where we want to construct a road, or we want to renovate a road. So for the traffic volume, the calculation of traffic volume is required in two aspects. One is for any renovation or modification in the road, another is for the new segment of for construction of a new segment of the road. Next is the equipment needed, means what are the equipment needed for the count of the traffic volume. The third one is the field summary sheet. So next is the automatic method. So there are basically two type of methods. One is manual method, another is at automated method for counting the traffic volume. First one is the automatic method. So in automatic method, basically we use some sensors, some cables, some cameras to calculate the traffic volume. So this is the process of calculating the automatic traffic survey. So you can see in the pictures. Okay, so this is the calculation of the traffic volume. These are some automatic machines are there, but this is the manual traffic count. This is the manual traffic count. So if you see that the two persons are sitting over here, and if you found that the one person is writing something on the sheet and another person is give some direction, means this person, suppose this is a point of intersection, this is a two-point intersection, some vehicles are coming from this side and it is go straight, or the vehicles are moving in the left direction. So this person will give some direction that how many vehicles are moving straight, how many vehicles are moving right direction, and based on that this person is written that how many vehicles are going straight and how many vehicles are taking right direction. But one thing you need to keep in your mind, that as I discussed that Indian road condition are heterogeneous traffic. So you can see that in the same road there is a two-wheeler, there is a four-wheeler, there is auto rickshaw, there are buses, there are trucks. So based on this, we have to categorize that suppose two number of bikes are moving straight, four number of four wheelers are taking right direction, one number of bus is moving straight direction, two number of trucks is moving right direction. Now based on this data, this traffic data, we have to normalize in a particular or in a certain value, so that we can calculate or we can give some standard value, and this is called as the PCU, passenger car unit. Means we have to convert this two wheeler in some standard value, this truck some standard value, this auto some standard value. So for that the PCU value is considered. Now PCU is what? Passenger car unit. Means we consider this car is a unit value. Now based on that we convert the other vehicles, and these guidelines is given by the IRC. Suppose for example, so there, if there is a one number of two wheeler, we convert in PCU and we have to multiply it by zero point 0.5. Means suppose 10 number of two wheelers are moving straight, then in a straight direction we have to multiply this 10 number of two wheeler by zero point 0.5, and from that we get a 5 PCU value for the two wheeler. In the same way for buses, for trucks, for auto rickshaw, different type of PCU value is given. And this one is the semi-automatic. Means this is the function, this machine, the function of this machine and the function of this copy is more or less same. There is a different type of vehicles are there and directions are there. So based on that, suppose one four wheeler is going straight, you press straight one four wheeler. So based on that, there is a semi-automatic where the vehicles that are counted in the machine itself. Next we will discuss about the traffic volume. Yes, this is again automatic. Here if you see in this figure, there is no persons are there. This is a automated machine. This is automated. Whenever you are passing, there are some sensors and camera. So based on the sensor and camera, they will find out, okay, whether which type of vehicles are passing this machine, whether it is a cycle, whether it is a two wheeler, whether it is a four wheeler. So based on the type of the vehicles, it automatically record the number of the traffic volume, and it automatically convert those numbers. Means in manual we have to convert in PCU value, but here if you see that only one value is shown, and this value is already uh, converted value. This is the converted value. So but the cost is very high for this type of traffic volume count machine. So the country or the places which are not can offer such type of automatic volume count, we go for the offline or some manual count type of traffic volume count. Next is the traffic speed studies. So in traffic speed studies, the change in the speed of the vehicles and change of the LOS of the road. LOS means the level of service. Level of service means the performance index. So basically it is the performance index. So if you see that in the morning, the number of the vehicles in the morning, suppose in 5 a.m., the number of vehicles in that road is what is the number of the vehicles? Suppose 10, but as the time is goes on, and at the peak time, that is in office time, the number is suppose 50 vehicles. So in the morning time, if we compare the morning 5 to 10 a.m., there is some difference between the movement of the vehicle, and this is basically nothing but the level of service. So if the levels of service is good, then it means what? The number of the vehicle is less, means the volume is less, and if volume is less, it means that the speed of the vehicle is high. So volume and speed are inversely proportional to each other. If the volume of the vehicle, of the number of the vehicle will be less in the road, the speed of that particular road section will be high. So this is the speed is directly related or directly responsible for changing of the level of service or the LOS. Next is a spot speed study. As I said, that one of the most important thing is that spot speed study. Spot speed study means the instantaneous speed. Means we want to calculate a speed for a particular location at any at any instance of time. So that is called the spot speed. So spot speed is instantaneous speed of the vehicle at traffic location, specific location. So the location is very specific pinpoint location. Next is the method of measuring. Time taken to cover a known distance. Means we know the distance, we have an idea of the distance and total time taken. So the from that equation, very basic equation, that the volume, the speed is time into distance. So based on that equation, we find out the what is the speed. Next is the radar speed meter and the photographic speed meter. So these are the method to calculate the spot speed study. Next is the data presented as the cumulative speed distribution diagram. So next we have to represent the speed data in some graphical method. Next is speed and delay study. So what is delay? So delay is occurs when the vehicles will not move at a desired speed. Means suppose the speed of the vehicle should be 50 kilometer per hour, but at some point of time or point of the day, the vehicles are not moving at this 50 kilometer per hour. So that means there will be some delay because the road is designed for that particular speed. But if the speed will be less compared to the our considered value, then there will be definitely some delay. So the running speed, the fluctuation in speed, the overall travel speed, location, duration, everything it depends on the speed and the delay. Suppose in a particular location, what will be the speed on suppose this for the today at 10 a.m. the same speed will not be at 11 a.m. So that speed will be something different based on the location, based on the situation, based on the frequency of, based on the some special activities. So these are the things. Now how we calculate the speed and delay study? So for calculation of the speed and delay study, there are few methods are there. First one is the floating car method. Next one is the license plate method. Third one is the interview technique. Fourth one is your elevated observation, and fifth one is your photographic technique. Now what are these things? So before going to over this survey, let's discuss something about the floating car or the license plate method. So the in floating car method, you what is the floating car method? From the name itself, it will understand that no, the vehicle is not floated, but it is actually not floated, but it is virtually floated on the along the traffic. Floated means it moving along the traffic movement. So what is the thing in the floating car method? So in the floating car method, basically one surveyor is there with two stopwatch in two hands. So on the first stopwatch, they note down the start time of the vehicle, and on the other stopwatch, they note the time taken to cross a particular intersection. So suppose there are 1 kilometer of road, and in between 1 kilometer there are three intersections. So I will get three data from another stopwatch. Means the time taken to cover that intersection or to cover the distance of that intersection. The second surveyor will note down what are the delays possible of delays mean possible reasons of delays, why the delays have taken place, whether there will be some traffic jam, whether there will be some march are there, whether there will be some meetings, whether there will be some events on the road. So these are the some possible reasons or the causes which are responsible for the delay. The third observer will note down that how many vehicles are overtaking my vehicle and how many vehicle I overtake. So this is the job role of the third observer. And for the fourth observer, he will note down that how many vehicles are coming from the opposite direction. So in a vehicle, there are total four number of surveyor along the and also one driver. So there are total five number of people in the road in that particular vehicle which are considered as the testing vehicle, and it moves to it's moved along the traffic movement. That is why it is float along the traffic movements, and from that perception itself, the name is called as the floating car method. Next is the license plate. License plate means now based on the license plate number, we calculate the speed of that particular vehicle of that particular location. Next is interview techniques. Yes, there is very general interview techniques are there. Some questions, basic questions are asking where are you from coming, what is the average time taking to cover your origin and destination point. So these are the few questions, and based on that an assumption or some average idea of delay and speed we obtain. Next is the elevated observation and photographic observation. These are some videographic and photographic technique based on which we will calculate the speed and delay. So next we move to the next topic is O&D studies. O&D is the origin and destination. O for origin, D for destination studies. So the basic data for determining the desired line means, suppose there are two location. One is origin means either it is your workplace or it is your home place or it is some places from where you. So basically this origin O and these are studies, origin is your home or your residence, from where you start your daily traffic, that is your origin, and destination is your whether you are moving to some theater, some restaurants, some offices, some schools, that is some destination. Now this origin and destination is different for different type of the purpose, different type of the purpose. Suppose from home, your starting point is home and you are going to office, so your origin is home and your destination is office. Now again you starting your vehicles from your office and you want to go for some shopping, so for that for that particular trip, your the office will be converted to origin point. But for the first trip of the day, your office is destination point. But for the second trip of your day, the office is your origin point, and your destination point then will be some shopping complex or some supermarket. So based on the trip, number of trip of the purpose of the trip, your origin and destination will point will be different. Next is the establish preferential routes for different trips. Yes, that is the main objective of this O and this study. So the main objective is what, to find the desired line for making the trip. Means there are three possible routes from my home to reach my office. So I will decide which route I will choose and why. Because there may be some shortest route will take me 30 minutes to reach from home to office, but there is another road which takes 40 minutes, but that road is relatively your less traffic jam, and your the road condition is little bit lower than that your choice number one. But still we choose the choice number two, because yes, there is no traffic jam. Though the roads conditions are little bit low, but we prefer due to some psychological parameter. So this is the things we find out from the O&D survey, that which is the desired route a driver or the commuter is selected for making any trip. Next, the method of for conducting the O&D survey. Just like the previous, there are also some methods. The roadside interview, license plate, written postcard, tag on car, home interview, and work spot interview method. Now the presentation of the data. The data are presented on the showing on the trip between the different zone, and the desired line are plotted connecting the origin and destination. So this is the one example of your origin and destination. So if you see that this is some origin and these are your destination, and this is the desired line connected to your origin and destination. So based on that, so the main objective of this study is to find out your desired line. Next is the accident studies. So for accident studies, the main objective is to study the causes of the accident and to suggest a corrective treatment at the potential location, to evaluate existing design, regulation, and control measures, to carry out before and after studies after implementing changes, to make computational of financial loss due to accident, and to provide the economic justification for improvement of the suggestive measures. So these are the some objectives of the accident studies. Next, what are the causes of the accident? So there are the different parameters are responsible for accident. First one is the driver. Yes, the driver is one of the important causes for accident. The excess speed, rash driving, violation of rules, drink and drive. There are some causes which are responsible for accident making by the any driver. Next is the pedestrian is violating by regulation and carelessness. There is a there is suppose green time for the vehicle but red time for the pedestrian, but still the pedestrian want to cross the road, then the accident may occur. Then the passenger while alighting from the gate from or getting into the vehicles, mean from alighting and de-alighting from the vehicles due to the irresponsibility or casualness, the accident may take place. Then the vehicle defects, yes, it is one of the major issue, that due to the failure of the brake, due to the lighting system, tire defect, the accident may take place. Next is the road condition. Yes, one that is one of the very important causes of the road accident, that the type of the condition of the road. Next is the road design. Road design means the geometric design. Then the traffic condition, weather, and animals means stray animals, the animals which are suddenly comes in front of the vehicle. So these are the some parameters, or these are the some causes which are responsible for the accident study. Now the next thing is the how we find out, or how we plot this accident study. So the we plot the data obtained from a particular location where accident occurred by some diagram, that is called the collision diagram. Collision diagram is what? Collision diagram is a drawn, not a scale. It depicts the details of the accident location, shows appropriate path of the vehicles and pedestrian involved in the accident, shows other objects with which the vehicles have collided, and most useful for before and after studies. So these are the points to be mentioned in the collision diagram. These are the reasons. So you can find out this is the types of the collision diagram. So if I zoom the picture, let zoom the picture. Okay, so you can find out that, there are some guidelines, or there are some symbol used for your collision diagram. Okay, so yes, this one, suppose these are some notation are used for your drawing the collision diagram. So by this notation you can find out, this is the auto means automobile, the pedestrian, dry road, wet road, snow or road, ice road, clear weather, raining, snowing. These are the some notations are shown or given in the collision diagram, by which we can see, we can understand that these are the possible parameters are responsible for the accident. And next we will discuss about the condition diagram. So what is condition diagram? Condition diagram drawn to scale shows all important physical features of the road and adjoining area. Important details to be shown here, and both collision and condition diagram can be combined together. We need to combine the collision and the condition diagram. Collision means the reasons for that collision, and condition means after the collision what are the condition, means after each and every accident we have to analyze the cost analysis, that how much damages are there in terms of road damage, in terms of property damage, in terms of life damage. So these are some parameters we have to calculate, or we have to make a report based on the after effect of that accident, and this is called as the condition diagram. So how these condition diagrams are? So basically condition diagrams are basically the things are damaged, or the amount in terms of monetary amount, in terms of your material amount of losses after this condition. So these are the some data of some accident analysis that are around the world, that how many accidents are making in every day based on the speed versus number of the accident. So what are the accident reduction measures? So basically there are various types of measures are there. So there are engineering measures, enforcement measures, and educational measures. So the road design and the pavement, the pavement maintenance vehicle of the vehicles before and after studies, road lighting, these all are the engineering measures. And what are the enforcement measures? Enforcement means speed control, traffic control, trading control, medical check, observance. And the educational means you have to educate, or you have to make some sense to the users, road users, regarding the rules and regulation of the road. And for that there are some instruction to school, poster exhibition, publishing highway safety code, and organization of the traffic awareness. So these are the some things about your first introduction to traffic engineering. I just give an idea about the what are the things is you need to be considered during this thing. So these are the things will be discussed in details, the point wise in details in the next classes. This is some just the idea of your classes. So for any query and any doubt, you may write me a mail, or you can directly ask me through WhatsApp or Facebook or call. But for the time being, you just have a look on the basic things or the basic objective of the traffic engineering. Later we will discuss some more in details, point wise. So thank you for today, and let's have a look, and thanks again.